This is Robin with Great Mystery, and with me is Dr. Jude Currivan, planetary healer, cosmologist, and author of Hope, Healing Our People and Earth. Jude, you've spent a lot of time in the Middle East. What is it that's drawn you to that area?
Well, I do a lot of traveling around the world in my work, which is in service to our collective and planetary healing, Robin. So perhaps the Middle East is the most apparently challenging conflict that we have as a global family still. And therefore, it so called me to try and understand it at a deeper level, because unless we understand the causes of dis-ease, and go to the seed points of that dis-ease, we can't really hope to heal it or to be in service to its healing.
Why do the problems of the Middle East seem to be so unsolvable?
I'm glad you said seem to be, because I don't feel they are insoluble, but I think that they're so overladen with so many centuries of challenge, of difficulty, and of pain. And there's a very powerful connection in the Middle East between people and place. There is everywhere around the world, but in the Middle East it's particularly powerful. And running through Israel, or at least the border pretty much between Israel and Jordan and then on up, is what's called the Great Rift Valley. And it's a major rift in the Earth's crust. And as folks who work with me now, I do a lot of work in terms of the energetic connection between people and places. And with the Great Rift Valley, all the issues, all the pain, all the conflicts that are played out are so literally embodied in the land, the memory of them, but also the ongoing energetic resonance of them is embodied in the land. So it's not just the people, it's literally within the landscape itself.
What do you think is the seed of the conflict in the Middle East?
Well, when I started to do this work, Robin, back in 2006, I went to a place called Haran, which is now in southeast Turkey. But in the Bible, that's where the Bible states that Abraham and Sarah, 4,000 years ago, left to move south into Canaan. And when I tuned in at Haran, and then after that went to Israel and did some more tuning in, and on, it really does seem to go back to what the Bible talks of, the covenant between Abraham and Yahweh. And the point around the covenant is basically and fundamentally a deal. It's a contract between land and sacrifice and land. And the sacrifice really with blood and with fire. And that ongoing relationship of sacrifice and the land through the covenant has essentially in different ways, but with the same fundamental resonance, been playing out for the last 4,000 years. And the most recent generations of its playing out have been through the Second World War, and the Holocaust, and then the foundation of Israel in 1948. And that sacrificial covenant goes on, and now it continues to be played out really between the Israelis and the Palestinian people. And that is the prime conflict that radiates its influence and its effects throughout the whole of the Middle East and far beyond, because it's a conflict and a wounding that effectively literally affects us all.
Given this deep history of this conflict, what do you think are the possibilities for healing?
Well, first of all, I think that the energy that continues to play out of the covenant, of the sacrifice and the connection with land and on a wider level ownership, that is the basic resolution that needs to occur. But I think before that, there's a huge amount of denial playing out in the situation. And just as it is in our own lives, unless we can get beyond the denial, unless we can face something honestly and openly and talk about it honestly and openly, we can't progress with the healing. And I think there's a lot of dishonesty. There's a lot of cynicism and dishonesty and lack of authenticity that certainly is played out on the political level. But I think it also plays out within the people of the Middle East. Now, I want to talk primarily about Israel and Palestine. You know, there are still Palestinians who deny the Holocaust, although 2 days ago, President Abbas called the Holocaust the worst crime in modern history. So the president of Palestine, unlike any other Palestinian president, has openly acknowledged the Holocaust and its horror. But there are still Palestinians who won't. There are still Palestinians who deny the existence of Israel, although that too is changing. And there are many Israelis who deny what happened in 1948, which the Palestinians call the Nakba, the disaster, when close on 750,000 people were just taken off their land in order for the Israeli state to be set up. So there's deep denial that we have to get over. And then we can start to talk honestly, and I think then you can really start to see movement in resolving these issues.